Hello and welcome. I'm Drew Brockbank, and in this video, I'll show you exactly how to use Zoho CRM Cadences to streamline and automate your outreach like a pro. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to create highly effective, time-saving outreach flows that keep your contacts engaged without constant manual follow-ups. Now, I've implemented Zoho for over 141 organizations worldwide in over a dozen industries. I'm also the owner of Brockbank Consulting, an official Zoho partner. Zoho is only as good as its implementation, so if you need help with Zoho, book a free consultation and get the elite Zoho expertise that you will need. You can get to the Zoho CRM Cadences feature by going to this cogwheel at the bottom left of Zoho CRM. This is in the new user interface. In the old one, it looks more like the Zoho One Zoho CRM interface. If you don't know anything about Zoho One, it's a bundle offering of applications from Zoho CRM, and you should see the cogwheel at the top right. Either way, if you click on the cogwheel, you're going to see this list of section options on the left. I'm going to go back to the Zoho CRM standalone user interface because I think most of you will be in something like this. Either way, everything is just about the same. You're going to scroll down, you'll see Cadences, and you'll see a bunch of stars next to it because this is a newer feature. If you want, you can also just search for Cadences here, and you'll see Cadences pop up. Once you get to the Cadences section, you'll see a list of your existing cadences, but more likely than not, if you're watching this, you haven't created any quite yet. So we're actually going to recreate this one here, my working sales engaged leads. But let's read the Zoho description. With cadences, you can send a series of targeted response-based follow-ups based on your business goals. These follow-ups can be emails, calls, and tasks. You can also automatically unenroll records from a cadence once you have achieved the targeted response. Or in other words, if you are doing any kind of consistent outreach to contacts, more likely than not, you can start to automate this. So instead of playing a guessing game on how you reach out to certain contacts or leads or prospects, you can bake it into the system. So this can work for just about any process of outreach. However, for this video, we're going to be very specific with a use case. So let's just pretend that you started your first day as a new sales manager, and your sales team comes to you and they say, you know what, we're inside of the CRM and we're getting all of these new leads, and these leads are sales ready. They're ready for the sales team to reach out to them, but we don't know what to do next. So we send them a LinkedIn message. Should we send them an email? Should we send them a call? All three. And if we do all three, should we do that 10 times over the next 2 weeks? Should we do it 100 times over the next year? What should be the cadence? Because your cadence, at least for this situation, is answering the question, what do you do next once there's a sales ready lead? Okay, so that's where cadences comes into play. So again, we're using a specific example. You can use any outreach example that you'd like, but we're going to stick with this example for the purposes of this video. So this cadence name is going to be working sales ready leads. We'll do working sales engaged leads. And then we're going to select the leads module, and we're going to do this for leads in a custom view. So you'll see there's an option for manually enrolled leads. The difference is if I select manually enrolled leads, it doesn't happen automatically. I have to click on the person I want to prospect, let's say Amelia Barrett, for example, and then I can go over to actions and then cadences and then add to cadence. Okay, so I have to do that manually if I select this option for manual enrolled leads. Makes sense, right? Then I have leads in a custom view, which is happening automatically. I want to automate this as much as I can for this example in this situation. It depends on your situation, which one you're going to use, but most of the time you use a custom view because you want this to be automatic, right? You don't want to make more work for yourself. So I'm going to select the custom view, sales engaged. So what I'm saying here, by the way, is if I would train my salespeople, I'd say, hey, look, if you're in the leads view, right, in the CRM, make sure you're in the Kanban view. You're going to see what I'm seeing here. And I'd say if you wanted to prospect Naomi Cole, Fiona Evans, or everyone in Sales Ready, you could go here. You go to Actions, Mass Update. You can go to Status. This is what if you wanted to do multiple leads at the same time. And you can mark them Working Sales Engaged. Because if you do Working Sales Engaged, they'll enter this Working Sales Engaged custom view. Just to show you a little more, if I clear this, I have this option for sales engaged. And I've just created a custom view that, hey, if they're in this status, they're in this custom working sales engaged custom view, which is this working sales engaged custom view here. So in other words, I want to trigger or start this cadence when the leads are in a custom view, more specifically if they are in the custom view working sales engaged. We want to enroll new records when they are added to this view as well. And so when they meet the custom view criteria, which is lead status equals working sales engaged, we want to start sending them messages. And if I wanted to give my team the best platform for success inside of Zoho CRM, I would also go into Zoho Learn. And this is where you host your training materials for your team or for different employees. I'd make a space for them, and then I'd have a manual with different SOPs, and I'd have a how to prospect SOP, how to prospect new sales ready leads. I'd have an SOP like that. And I would send a video of how I prospect over to one of my trusted sales reps. And I'd say, I want you to create the SOP. I don't want to spend the time creating this thing. I want you to do it. But here's an SOP on creating SOPs. So I'll send you the video, the recording of me doing it. I want you to create this. And then I even have a guide on exactly how you should do it. That way they confirm to me they understood the video that I sent them on demonstrating how to do prospecting. And that gives me a scalable way of training my entire team on autopilot, right? I want to show you the best way to do this and to scale your training and your use of Zoho CRM. Cadences is a great way to scale because you can just build a cadence once, and then everyone on your team can use that cadence over time. So for 1 unit of input, you get this infinite unit of outputs, depending on how many people you actually have on your team that want to use it. To go back to creating the cadence, when they meet the custom view criteria, you're going to click on next. And then we've got our different follow-ups. So pretty much every automation is going to have 3 main components. The first is the trigger, what's going to start the automation. A cadence really is an automation. So we'd start this cadence when a lead equals sales engaged as the status. And then the if is going to be the criteria, okay? That's the second main part. And the criteria here would be that the lead status has to equal sales engaged. Number 3, we have the action, which is what are we going to automate? What is this automation actually going to do? And this automation is going to do 4 outreach attempts over a 2-week period, okay? So the first follow-up is going to be an email. And the nice thing about Zoho CRM is you can actually create this email right inside of the CRM. You don't have to go somewhere else to do it. So immediately after enrollment, we want to send an email to the lead's email address, right? So we're going to click here. By the way, the reason that the lead is pre-selected is because once we when we were in the option for creating the cadence, they say, what module do you want to base this off? And we selected leads. So that's why it's pre-selected. Then we have email here. Email template, we're going to create our own. So we're going to go to create template. Zoho CRM has a template builder. I highly suggest you use HTML plain text. The reason why is this will look like it's coming from your email client, whether it be Outlook, Gmail, or Zoho Mail. It's going to look like you sent it from there. Instead of having the bars on the side and it looking promotional and having lots of infographics, you can do that if you want, but Zoho CRM is not built for those marketing style communications. It's truly built for transactional communication, as if you are sending an individual email to somebody. That's what it's built for. Even though you can do mass communications, it's not necessarily built for that. It's got limitations on mass communications, okay? So enter a template name. Let's do this outreach attempt 1. So if I'm looking through a list of my templates, I'm going to see, here, let's get that down. I'm going to see outreach attempt 1. However, this next section, template subject, this is the subject line that they are going to see when you send the email to them. So you can merge information from the record. You can say first name. If you just do a hashtag, # there, it will have a drop down for all the fields inside of the leads module that you can merge over into this. So you can see first name, hello. That's a terrible subject line. Don't use that. It's just an example of what you can do. Okay, so we'd say something like, hey, first name, I noticed that you filled out a form on our website. Do you have any questions regarding our Zoho implementation services? best. And then I can even do everyone's individual signature here by doing user's signature. Okay, again, a really scalable feature here for everyone who has a signature. They don't have to manually put that in every single time. It's going to happen automatically for them because I'm using a merge tag. So again, this first name, it'll merge with, if we were to reach out to Amelia, it would say Amelia. And then the other nice thing about this is whoever on my sales team, right? Because I'm training my sales team on how to use this. I want to build a system that trains my people so they can execute the system perfectly every single time. They don't have to do anything. They just have to log in, bring people over into that custom view, and then automatically their user signature is going to be added. So we can save this now. I'm going to put this in my test folder. Then we're going to go back to Cadences, and you're going to see refresh to see the changes. You're going to see outreach attempt 1 is now a part of my template list. I can select that. Okay. So now it's selected. Outreach attempt 1 is my email template. I can add a from address. Another scalable feature here is I can just say other emails, current user's email. That's where I want it to send from. Not the same email every time. Whoever is in the system updating people and they are meeting the criteria of the of this cadence, their email is going to be the one to send out this email. Then I'm going to save it. Okay, so the email is the first outreach attempt in our sequence of 4 outreach attempts in 2 weeks. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a task, because what I want to train my team to do is first send an email. And then right after that, I want you to connect with them in LinkedIn, search for them on LinkedIn, and then I want you to send them a message. As a side note, you can automate connecting with someone on LinkedIn. It's a mix of a couple tools, but you can use Clay. You can search for Clay lead enrichment and it will pop up. And Clay can take someone's first name, last name, other information, their email, phone number, and it can find their LinkedIn address, okay? So that you get their LinkedIn URL. And then you can use Lemlist on top of that to actually connect with people on LinkedIn. I believe you're able to send like a connection message, but Zoho CRM doesn't allow you to do that out of the box. So I'm going to show you what you would do inside of Zoho CRM if your first outreach attempt was an email and your second was a LinkedIn message. So do this immediately after the previous email is sent. What we want to do is we want to send an email, the subject of the task that we're going to create is first name. We'll do user first name. Send first name of the lead, a LinkedIn message, intro message. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let me capitalize that so it's all title case. So first name, so it's a Drew, send Amelia a LinkedIn intro message. Okay, so I'd have that on my task list. Where would this pop up? Well, if I was in Amelia's record, there's open activities here. And open activities is, let me go here, task meeting call, right? So a task would pop up right here, or I could just go over to the task module, see a list of my tasks for outreach. Okay, and I can use that as my source of truth for what I got to do manually. Because what's not happening automatically has to be done manually. And so a task is directing someone on what to do manually as a part of the cadence. The due date, we'll just do the trigger date plus 0 days, not a problem. Status, not started. Perfect. Priority, high priority. Yep, because it's prospecting. Assigned to, select users. Drew Brockbank, we can do that. If you do not assign to a task to a user, it will automatically be assigned to the record owner. That works too. We're just going to select Drew Brockbank as this example. Notify assignee, remind assignee, and then we can save this. Okay. And then we'll just do 0 days and we should be good. Perfect. So first follow-up mail, second task. So again, this is 4 follow-up attempts, outreach attempts in 2 weeks. So let's say the next week you wanted to give them a call. That's part of your cadence. And when you're creating this cadence, it doesn't have to be perfect on the first try. Just give it your best go on what cadence you think best fits the people you're trying to reach, and test the cadence. See how the cadence goes, and then iterate and improve it over time. Okay, do this immediately. So we actually would want to do this 7 business days. We'll do 7 business days after the previous task is completed. So after we send that LinkedIn message and mark it completed, 7 business days after that, we want to give them a call. Okay, this is outbound call. We're going to schedule this call start time, trigger date plus 0 business days at new time. Use time from trigger date And then call owner, we want the call owner to be the logged in user, right? Then the call purpose would be prospecting, call agenda, send email, and LinkedIn message. So you would be able to call them and say, hey, I sent you an email after you'd filled out a form on our website. And I also sent you a LinkedIn request. We just wanted to follow up and see how you were doing and seeing if we could answer any questions regarding our Zoho implementation services, whatever it might be. You could write a script for it, whatever you'd like to do. But right here, we've covered the 3 different options, right? We can send an email automatically, we can create a task automatically, and we can schedule a call automatically, okay? So we have email, task, call. Those are the different activities. So the last one we're gonna do is we're going to go back to where we started with an email. Let's pretend that you'd already created an email template. Go ahead and select that email template. You do outreach attempt 2, or email outreach attempt 2, or outreach attempt 4, whatever you'd like to title it. And then we would do this immediately after the previous call was completed. We just want to send an email saying, hey, it was great to speak with you. Here's a link to book with us, whatever we'd like it to be. Choose recipients, lead, email. We do that just like we did in the first one. From, and we'll do current user's email. We can add a reply to, just so we're certain that it's going to reply to the current user's email. That way you as a sales manager aren't getting email responses that were sent by a sales rep on your team, okay? Now I'm gonna save this, and then we've got our 4 follow-up attempts over a 2-week period. Last thing here, exit criteria. This is really important. You can unenroll or exit people from this cadence in a few ways. So first, you just say they don't exit until they finish, essentially. So after the 4 outreach attempts, but you wanna be smarter than that, right? Because let's say you're in the situation where the cadence is automatically going, and you send an email as follow-up number 1, you send them a LinkedIn message. They respond on LinkedIn and they say, hey, Drew, good to hear from you. Yes, we filled out a form. We're very interested in your Zoho implementation services. Let's find a time to chat. Well, at that point, what you'd want to do is you'd want to go into the CRM. And the CRM is just showing you digitally what's happening in real life, right? So you want to make sure as much as you can that this digital representation is reflecting what's happening in real life. So Amelia, let's say I sent Amelia the DM and she responded, she was interested. Then I would mark as reached. She's interested now, okay? So because Amelia is interested, she needs to exit this. So once I've moved Amelia from sales engaged to reached, because now technically she is reached, she's responding, she wants to book a meeting, I would set my unenroll property to they don't fall under custom view criteria, okay? Because the custom view, if you remember, was built on working sales engaged. So if they're no longer in working sales engaged and they're in reached, then they do not fit the criteria anymore. So they would therefore exit the cadence. So I would do, they don't fall under custom view criteria, okay? So that's one option. I recommend that. Response received for any email. That's a good option as well, because what you're saying is, the only risk here is if they have an autoresponder and they're like, hey, we're out for vacation for the next 4 weeks. Then you've exited them from the cadence, and technically it really shouldn't be exited from the cadence. But you can do response receive for any email as well to automate that. Then you have on a particular date as well. So those are your 3 options for unenrolling properties. It's nice to do the custom view criteria in the example that I've built this demonstration off of, which is you're a new sales manager. You're trying to train your team on how to do things, okay? So that is important. You can then go to publish. Once you go to publish, it will say, are you sure you want to proceed? First follow-up will be an email. This will be sent immediately, meaning the follow-up will send for all leads that are currently present in the working sales engaged custom view. I don't want to do this. This is a demo instance, but if you were ready to go, you would hit publish and you would move forward, okay? So this is just going to be a draft for me that I can use in the future. Once I publish that, it's going to trigger on people that have met the criteria of the custom view working sales engaged. And that is how you can automate your outreach. You don't have to do it manually every single time. You can take some time initially to lay it out and plan it out, and then you can bake it into your system. You can save loads of time, and then you can save loads of headaches. Just design the process one time, bake it into your system, and then you don't have to worry about it. On top of that, I will reiterate, it is important to train your team on how to do this. get it out of your head, get it onto paper. The best way to do it is not to do it yourself, but to record yourself doing it, send it to someone, have them create a standard operating procedure. And then you can say, hey team, every time you need to do something, just say how to create proposal or how to reach out to prospects, and they'll have an SOP showing them exactly what to do. It doesn't even have to go over exactly how the cadence works unless you want to show them that. But this is the best way to scale your training with your team and then to take a process and bake it into your system.